So you want to become a homeowner, and in this video, I'm going to give you the 10 steps to becoming a homeowner in 2026. Okay, so you clicked on this video, you really want to know exactly what it's going to be like to buy a house here in 2026. I wrote the 10 steps for you. So in this video, I want to share with you how we're buying a home in 2026. And by the end of this video, you're going to find yourself in honestly one of three places. Number one, you're going to be like, there's no way in the world I'm going to be able to buy a house. I want to help you confirm that. The next thing is you're going to say, hey, well, I didn't know that I was ready to buy a house, and I think I can take the next step. And then the last place you'll be is, I knew I was ready, I'm excited to keep going. And in that case, either way it goes, any one of those three is fine. Reach out to me. I put my information on the screen so you can get in touch with me. But I really want to go over this with you because some people just don't know. Some people don't know what it's like. It's been a while. So I want to help you as you're making your decision. So let's get into the video. For things to do and sights to see, this is Live Great TV, and I am the official host of Living Great in Grand Rapids and the West Michigan area. My name is Vaughn Grayhouse, and if you want to know more about the Grand Rapids area, what it's like to live, work, and have fun out here in West Michigan, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell, leave me a comment, let me know what you think about this video, because I put these 10 steps together for a lot of the clients that reach out to me, and I want to help you too as you're deciding. Been around West Michigan, helped a ton of families, hundreds of families, the whole 9 yards. But here today, I want to help you. Let's get into step number one, and that is going to be the money, first and foremost. So I want to point this out simply because you're buying a house, and I want to be real. You know, some people reach out and think, oh, well, I heard that you could buy a house with zero money down. I heard you could just, easily get a house. You can get a grant, certain things like that. Yes, that is true. Takes a lot of work to be able to do something like that. So if that's what you're thinking, you want to reach into some of the programs and get a free house, I'll help you, but it's going to be a lot of work. I'm going to tell you, the money is really important. So you have to, just to get started, qualify yourself and just say, hey, you know what? I got to get some money set up. I got to get some money set aside, however much that may be, just so you can feel good. Now, another thing that comes into play with the money is going to be credit. So people say, well, I don't have great credit. And I've seen online that I can get a house with a 500 credit score. Yes, you can. However, you're going to have a ton of fees, a ton of add-on expenses. You're going to have a whole bunch of stuff, hoops to jump through and loops to jump through in order to do that. But in my recommendation, if you have a 620 or better credit score, that's going to be a really good indicator that it might be time to start looking into purchasing a home. And it's one of the first steps to know that you're ready, so you can feel confident within yourself before you reach out to anybody else. Get started there. I say in this day and age, have at least 5,000 put up. That's just kind of baseline, especially if you're at the beginning. The more the merrier. Obviously you can use that towards your house and build some equity and things like that, but that's just my rule of thumb in respect to having the money. Now let's get into the next thing. Now, second to the credit and the money is going to be your work history. You look into your work history. If you've been at your job or within the same industry for 2 years, the banks and lenders want to see some sort of longevity or some sort of real discipline as far as you being at your job. So if you have a 620 credit score, you get at least 5,000 saved up, and you've been at your job at least the last 2 years, or you've been in the same industry for the last 2 years, you are spot on and you're already ready for the next step, which is going to be the pre-approval. All right, now you've met those requirements, those first few requirements, and you're ready to get pre-approved. The first place I want you to start is going to be your pre-approval letter. Now, talking to lenders, talking to mortgage people, a lot of people go on Rocket Mortgage or Preferred Rate, or they go online and they fill out some information and then they get some sort of information online. I want to give you a caution about those, because a lot of times they show you good rates on those, but then they also have some caveats on the back end where they're charging you for different rates, points, and things like that that you might not be aware of. So one of the great things to do with a pre-approval, along with Preferred Rate, Rocket Mortgage, whatever you use, is to have a local lender, almost like a second opinion. So always get a second opinion, whether it's realtor, whether it's a lender, things like that. Get a second opinion so you know for sure that you're in a solid place, and whatever that rate is, you know, kind of compare and contrast, because you don't want to get neck deep into it, get all the way down to number 8 and realize that you're in over your head and you can't afford it. You want to make sure you safeguard yourself. Preventative maintenance, what they say, the 5 P's, proper planning prevents poor performance, and you want to perform well, and that's why I'm here. Thank you for watching the video. So the next thing for number 2 is you don't want to fall in love with a house before you're ready. Before you know, you're already looking at houses on Zillow, you tried to psych yourself up about the rate and things like that, and you're already tied to a house and you don't really have the actual number. Now, one thing to give you a heads up about these lenders is they're going to require that you send them some W-2s, some pay stubs, thing that they're going to need financial wise, your credit, maybe your credit score. They have to run your credit. A lot of times you are afraid, a lot of people are like, well, I don't want you to run my credit. There's what's called a soft pull and what's called a hard inquiry, or a hard pull or a hard inquiry, which actually does ding your credit, which can bring your score down. But then you have a soft pull or a soft inquiry, where they basically just peek around the corner to see what it might be if they did pull it. So that way it's a lot safer. It doesn't harm your credit score. So keep that in mind as you're talking to lenders and things like that. Hey, don't do a hard pull, just do a soft pull. And that way they'll be able to say, hey, no worries. Most lenders are able to do that. And a lot of these banks and credit people know that people are inquiring about them, so they know that that's pretty customary. And once you have that, you have a little more confidence in exactly what your buying power is going to be and what kind of buyer you are within the market. Before you step out there, you know if you're a great buyer with a lot of leverage, or if you're a buyer that needs to negotiate a little bit more with those sellers on the house. And that's a really big deal with your pre-approval. At the end of that pre-approval, you're going to know 3 things. You're going to know your buying power, what kind of buyer you are, what your monthly payment is, and how much cash you need to bring to close. If that $5,000 is enough, or if you're going to need to bring more money to the table, so that way you have a smooth transaction and you've done the hard work up front. Now, people ask me, what is the difference between a conventional loan? What is the difference between an FHA? What's a VA? What are all the differences? So there's typically 4 types of loans that are out there. You have your conventional type of loan, which is basically a more stringent. It's a little tougher to get. A conventional loan, you typically have 10, 20% down, a higher percent down, but you know, typically people who have conventional loans usually have a better credit score. Requires maybe a 700 plus credit score for a conventional loan with a significant amount down. The next, you have a FHA loan, which means Fair Housing Administration. FHA is a government-backed loan where the federal government wants to go ahead and put money behind you to help stimulate the market so that we have more buyers purchasing homes in the area. And that usually is around 3.5% down whenever you're going to purchase a home. It's a little bit better than 10, 20%, and they're more flexible on the credit score. So you may have a 580, you know, may have a 620, may have a 650, something like that, where they'll work with you a lot better on the FHA loan. The third one is going to be a VA, a veteran loan. So this is if you have been in the military, if you're a veteran. These are ways that you're able to purchase homes with money, with $0 down. If you are a veteran, they give a lot of perks and incentives, taxes, tax breaks and things like that, that you're able to take advantage of as a veteran. Thank you for your service if that's you. Last but not least, you have a USDA loan or RD loan or MSHDA loan here in Michigan. And that is another loan that is a lot easier to get to. So these are where you're seeing a lot more of the zero down terms, where you're seeing a lot more of the fees and add-ons, grants, things like that. All the stuff, all the programs that you've heard about, it's usually a USDA loan or MSHDA loan or a rural development loan. These are usually out in the rural areas, kind of out in the sticks, but you can get approved with zero down because they want more people purchasing out in those areas. So those are the 4 different loan types that you'll see as you're deciding. Last thing is that people ask me, what is the difference between a lender, a broker, and a bank? Now, when it comes to a lender, you usually get whatever their rates are. A lender is just all of their things that they have as far as one lending company. The next thing is a broker. Now, a broker is going to be, they take your information and they shop it out to different lenders Whereas, you know, they can find the best rate for you. They basically shop around for you. And then a bank is, they do a little bit of everything. So if you go into a bank or credit union, you're going to just get their rates, their programs, and you really have to stick with them. Typically, they're not as experienced in the mortgage lending all around. So you'll kind of have a blend. Whereas if you want a specialist, I'm going to a lender or I'm going to a broker to be able to give you as far as straightforward advice and getting the best rate for you. All right, number 3 is going to be your agent. So you want to find a great real estate agent. A lot of people are just like, well, how do I find a good real estate agent? First and foremost, you want to find somebody that you know, that you like, that you trust. You're going to be working with them to purchase your new home. So making sure that you at least like the person is going to be to your advantage to know, hey, I can bounce ideas off this person. I can really relate to them. I always tell people it's like a doctor, a lawyer, you know, a mechanic, someone you can lean into as far as you trust. Now, they have what's called a fiduciary duty, which means that they're not able to do anything outside of your permission. So when you're working with a real estate agent, they're not supposed to be doing anything that you haven't known about and that you consent with. So they're going to be working in your best interest. And if they're ever not, that's when you need to talk to the broker or you need to talk to the real estate board and make sure that that's staying in alignment. So that way you get exactly what you want, or they tell you what you can do to get what you want. That's going to be a really big thing. Now, a lot of people ask me, how much does it cost to pay for a realtor? Or how does he get paid? That's a fantastic question. And how a real estate agent gets paid is usually through commissions. Now, they had it before where a lot of the sellers would, when the houses were on the market, they would offer out a percentage of the sale price to go to that real estate agent. And typically they only get paid when they close. So that way, if they don't do a good job, they're not getting paid. If they do and they're able to close on that sale, that's the only time that you should be paying them. Now, some agents are a little busier. Some agents have what's called a retainer, which is usually a few $100 just to say, hey, if we work together, this is what it costs up front. Sometimes you can pay that retainer on the back end. Some real estate agents will also take that retainer of $500,000 and then they just put it towards your closing costs and have the sellers pay for it in some kind of way there. Now, the new rules came about in 2024 that buyers would have to compensate or pay their real estate agent in the event that the seller isn't willing to. Now, a lot of times where today buyers are, you know, they don't have the funds to fork out for a down payment, closing costs, and pay for a real estate agent. So sometimes what you can do is you can negotiate that with the seller to have the seller pay out of their proceeds whenever you close, because a lot of times the sellers will have equity within the home that they can just say, hey, line by line, this is the amount that goes to your real estate agent. And once you close and all the dust is settled, then your real estate agent gets paid. I hope that makes sense for you. Now, if your agent is not able to explain how he gets paid, that's maybe a red flag. You know, you want to find someone who's competent enough to tell you, hey, this is how I get paid at the end of it. Sometimes, you know, some realtors just say, hey, you don't have to pay me anything up front. Don't worry about anything. I'm working on your behalf, because they know that at the end of it, they're going to get that reward for doing a great job for you. So that way you can recommend them to other people that you know, and so on and so forth. The next thing to keep in mind, what is a good real estate agent? What do they actually do? Well, a real estate agent is going to listen first and foremost. They're going to be able to help you navigate different homes, different markets, tell you exactly what a good deal is, what a bad deal is, give you the ins and outs to help you interpret a lot of the contracts for you, and be able to successfully get you over to the closing table. So that way you get into the home stress-free, without any strings attached. And at the end of it, you can say, hey, you know what, that was a great experience. I would recommend that agent to someone else, because they explained everything thoroughly to me before I went ahead and closed on my home and just left me high and dry. You know, that's the one thing you don't want. You want to have a really safe, comfortable relationship with your real estate agent. If it doesn't feel safe and comfortable, keep looking until you do. And then another thing they're going to do is help explain the inspection. They're going to explain the condition of the house with you. If there's something wrong with the inspection report after you do the inspection on your home, you make sure everything is good. We're going to get to that. That's number 6. But making sure that they're walking you through hand in hand and looking out for your best interest. Okay, so there is one important thing that I do want to point out when it comes to choosing a real estate agent, and that's going to be knowing what you're signing and knowing what documents are in front of you. A lot of this can be overwhelming, and this is a really big deal as you're signing documents because you don't do this every day. Number one is going to be your buyer agency agreement. This is just a document that says whoever you're working with, that real estate agent, is working on your behalf, and what their specific jobs, the first document there are a couple documents that you're going to sign with a real estate agent, and the first document that you're going to sign with that real estate agent, after you've chosen one that you know, like, and trust, is going to be your buyer agency agreement. This is a basic agent agreement to say, hey, this agent is representing you in the sale as your fiduciary, as someone who has your best interest at heart. And that's at the forefront. It's just general customer service. They're putting your needs in front of their own as your fiduciary, as your representative in the transaction. Now, when you're asking about this document, the agent should be able to walk you through easily what you're signing, so that way you feel comfortable and confident moving forward into it. Be sure to read through these documents. You're signing legal documents, so read through them thoroughly, ask any questions that you may need, and even have your real estate agent walk you through the documents. It's not, you're not doing this every day, and they know that. So making sure that your real estate agent can walk you through what you're signing, what that means, because you don't want to find out that you owe money to them that you don't know about. So keeping that in mind, having them walk you through the documents is going to be a great thing. You may also have an agency disclosure agreement, which is just a basic agency disclosure for the brokerage. They may be under a specific brokerage. Your agent is a representative of that brokerage, and you need those two documents signed to say that brokerage is working for you and that agent is working for you. Now, there will be a portion of the document that allows them to be paid on your behalf. Like I said, a lot of times you can have the seller pay the costs, and if you can't afford to pay that agent directly, whatever the percentage is or whatever their price is, have the conversation with that agent, let them know that up front, so that way there are no surprises ahead of time, and they can negotiate their pay within the transaction whenever they submit your offer. Another document or another thing you should be cautious or have a heads up on is a administration fee. Now, some brokers have a broker admin fee, which goes into each and every transaction, anywhere from $250 to $1,000, $1,250, $1,500. It could be anywhere in between. To know that out of pocket, this will not typically come out of pocket, but it may be a line item on your closing costs to keep in mind. Some people wonder, hey, well, what is this broker admin fee? The broker admin fee typically goes towards the brokerage, keeping track of your different files, storing your files, making sure you're covered, audits to prevent any sort of later occurrence on your property, just keeping you safe. They're to pay their staff. They're a different variety for what they use the administration fee for, but typically every brokerage will have an administrative brokerage fee. The next thing you're going to sign is your purchase agreement. You're going to look through the purchase agreement. Usually this is a few pages long. You look at every line to make sure it's the appropriate property, what you're offering, when you're offering it, when you're going to close, what your inspection period, what all the ins and outs of these steps will be. Most of the time, you're going to have all of this inside of your purchase agreement, and that's just going to go through everything. Your lead-based paint. Typically, you have a lead-based paint disclosure form, which is a state-mandated form. Some different states have different requirements. So you have your lead-based paint form, and then you also have a seller's disclosure form, which a seller gives a statement saying, hey, this is what we know about the property, and kind of give you a heads up. So as you're looking through homes, you can ask for a seller's disclosure form to see, hey, what does the seller know about the property? And typically the real estate agent can find that seller's disclosure statement. So that way you kind of have a heads up on what the status of that property is. Now, I've put together a PDF guide to show you exactly what those specifics are. So if you're interested in moving to the area or just coming to visit, you're going to get a good dose of what that transition is like coming to the West Michigan area. All right, here's number 4. This is the fun part. This is the housing. So you want to look for your house. This is a big deal. The house part is going to be a big deal because you're excited. This is the part you've been waiting for. You got all the finance stuff out the way. You've picked your agent. You're ready to see some houses. And that's a fantastic position to be in. Being excited about your new home, your next chapter. You got a good real estate agent. You're feeling good about it. And this is where it can get a little cumbersome because there's a lot, there's a lot of homes on the market. You want to find out, where to begin. I know I want this idea, that idea. It's important to have it all on one page. So I offer out what is called a home wish list. So if you text me, I'll put my number on the screen. If you text me wish list and just say, hey, I'd like the wish list, I'll send mine over to you so you can really get a good idea between you and whatever decision maker that you're with purchasing a home to know exactly what it is and be able to relay that over to your real estate agent or myself to say, this is exactly what I'm looking for. I always lead with lifestyle. If you watched the video this far, congratulations. This is the number one thing that you want to consider when you're purchasing a new home is a lifestyle. I tell a lot of my clients, a house is just glass, stick, metal, paint, wood, concrete, the whole entire thing. But a lifestyle is really what you're after. And as long as that lifestyle lines up, you can find the right house. It might not be the first one, it might not be the 5th one, but at the same time, you have the lifestyle that you want, and you'll usually start to see a theme between what you want and what you don't want. So that's a really thing to keep in mind. Last but not least, I want to mention that when you're looking at homes, you want to keep it between 3 and 5 houses, typically 3 because it gives you an efficient amount of homes to see in one go round, and 5 so you don't get overwhelmed with the houses that you do see. So that way at the end of it, you're not like head spinning and you're talking about, what house had the sink and what house had the big lawn. I don't remember which one had the fence. And that way you're not overwhelmed, because it can be. If you're looking at 15 houses, break them up into a couple of days. Talk to your real estate agent. Say, hey, I like these 10 houses, but I want to see them all before I decide. There's nothing wrong with that. I always prioritize your best house at the first one, just in case someone else comes and buys it. And then the ones that you're like, hey, if this one got sold, I wouldn't be mad about, but I do want to see it. Make sure you put those ones in your next round. So that way at the end of it, you can make a decision before, it goes away. Typically, a realtor is going to reach out and find out what's going on with the property before you put an offer in to make sure that you're covered and you don't lose out on these homes, because sometimes the market moves fast, especially in West Michigan. Once you have that wish list, your real estate agent's gonna, look to you. I look to my clients as far as what they want. Once that wish list is sent in, I'm keeping my eyes and ears open. I'm putting them on a home search. Zillow a lot of times will let you set up your own home search and things like that. But I help my clients, as I see things on the market, but they know a lot more what fits their lifestyle than I do, no matter what. There's things that come up along the way that your agent may not know at the time, but of course you're keeping them in the loop on these things. But a lot of times my clients come to me with a list of homes that they already like. So typically your realtor's not going to find the house that you purchase. You most likely will find it through what you want. They may suggest certain things around what you send them, and they may send you houses that you're going to purchase, but it's not like the old days where the realtor does the finding and house hunter, where they pick 3 houses and then you just pick one and you end up with it. That's not how this works. It's a little bit different on the inside. And this is talking from someone who's sold hundreds of houses. And I want to help you have a clear idea of what to expect when you're in the market to purchase a home. And with that home wish list, you want to look at some of the things like cosmetic. Do I want to fix something? Do I not want to fix something? Am I handy? Do I have a family member? Do I want to move in ready? Do I want to fix her upper? These are all things to consider as you're deciding on which house to go with. Your realtor will be able to line up those showings. You can go check them out. Now, the next thing is going to be your offer. When you're putting your offer in on the next house is number 5. All right, so when you put your offer in, I want to keep this short and sweet. You're going to put an offer, really find out what the going rate for those homes in that area is. Your agent's going to do some work around that, but knowing that the good houses will go fast is to your advantage. If you like a house, chances are someone else out there likes a house too. So the strongest offer that you put in is not always the highest offer. Sometimes it depends on the seller situation. If the seller needs more time to get out, you see a bunch of boxes or you see things aren't packed at all and the seller still hasn't found a house, maybe they need a month after close that you're willing to give them that may be like 10,000 less, but also is going to get you the house, and you know, you'd be in a better position just because you have more time than the person who has more money does. So you may say, hey, I'll give you 10,000 less and I'll give you 30 days. And they may say, hey, we'll take 10,000 less because we don't want to, you know, we want that time after close. Whereas the person who has more money doesn't have the time and wants to rush them out of the house. You might be the best offer in that case. So knowing that a little bit ahead of time is going to put you in the driver's seat as far as getting your offer accepted. Once you have your offer together, one of three things is going to happen. They're going to accept your offer. Therefore, you're moving forward. They're going to reject your offer, or they're going to accept it with conditions and send you a counter offer, which may have some sort of, you know, small changes to it, maybe some major changes to it. Maybe the price is way off. Maybe they need more time after close. Maybe they need different financing. And that's where that negotiation starts. So everybody's happy at the end of the sale. So you may end up having that come back to you. So keep that in mind once that offer goes in. Number 6 is going to be the inspection. You want to inspect the house. I always tell folks that, hey, your inspection is specifically for you. There's an inspection and then there's an appraisal later at number 8, but the inspection is for you. Think of it as you're buying a new car, but you're taking it to your mechanic before you purchase it. You're taking it to your trusted mechanic, which your mechanic is looking out for you specifically. So that's going to be a really big deal. Now, typically the inspections will cost you out of pocket about $400 to $600, give or take, on either side. So plan on having your own inspection. I don't know if I can put 400 to 600 out of pocket. So this is going to be out of your pocket. So make sure you have this money ready to go. Now, another thing to keep in mind, just not to go too far away, is your offer. Once your offer is accepted, you're going to need what's called an earnest money deposit. And that's just a deposit. Typically, that deposit is around 1% of the purchase price. Typically, at least in the state of Michigan, you just have to have something to put down. But 1% is kind of customary as far as your home. So if you're buying a $250,000 home, $2,500 will go towards your earnest money deposit. And what happens with that earnest money deposit is it goes towards your down payment. So it does go towards the house. It's a good faith to show that you're serious about purchasing the home. So you have two things that you pay for out of pocket right away. On your offer, your earnest money deposit, which goes towards your closing costs, and then your inspection fee or your inspection purchase, which is for you, like you're basically paying your home inspector for their time and their inspection report, and that's usually $400 to $600. That does not go towards your down payment. That's just for them coming in and doing it. Now, once you're done with that inspection, they're going to go through a full list to check out the house to make sure it's in great shape. You know, some of them have a 180-point checklist that they send every detail of the house, and that inspector's job is to make this house look like it needs to be torn down. You know, I always tell people, like, I'm not even a home inspector, and you pay me $500 to go through any house. I don't care what house it is, I'm gonna find something wrong with it. So keep that in mind, that these are professionals who do this, and so they're there to make sure that you're covered, so you know everything about the home, so that all is disclosed to you on your own merit, because sometimes the sellers don't know everything. They haven't gotten an inspection on the house. Not that they're trying to lie or keep anything from you, so they just may not know. You know, maybe since they put the house up, a mouse, I don't know, chewed and I don't know what it is, you know, or whatever the case might be. The sink got leaky and they didn't know it. So at the time of inspection, you can point that out, say, hey, I need you to fix that leaky sink, and go from there. So just keep that in mind, is getting that inspection is going to be to benefit you. Now, underwriting, once that inspection is complete, you have what's called underwriting. And this part is where a lot of my clients that call me, they're like, man, that bank and that lender is annoying. They're bugging me. They're asking me all these stupid questions, and I'm just kind of bugged right now because I thought I gave them everything. So just as a heads up, The underwriters are very meticulous. They want to stay on top of the finances. So heads up, this portion right here, number 7, is where they're going to be getting close with you as far as your finances, your employment, your credit score, the W-2s, your pay stubs, all that type of stuff. They're going to be doing double work on that to make sure everything is lined up for you so they don't miss anything, and they're just doing their job. Now, once they're done with that, you typically have your appraisal. Now, unlike the inspection, the appraisal, number 8, is the appraisal. And the appraisal is specifically for the bank or the lender. The reason that they require an appraisal, first of all, let me tell you what the appraisal is. The appraisal is an estimation of value based on recently sold homes within that area. They want to know what the going rate is so they can come up with a value in order to be able to send funds over to you. Let's just say you're doing 10% down. That other 90% comes from the verification of the appraisal. So that 90% is a big risk for them. So they want to make sure if they give you that other 90%, that they're going to be able to get their money back in the event that you default on your payment, to know that they didn't overlend on the home. So they have to get an appraisal to cover their own butt, to make sure that they're in good shape. If anything were to happen, they can recoup those funds from you. So that's what the appraisal is. Now, some of the appraisals will be spot appraisals where they basically just do a drive-by. Some of them they're required to go through the home depending on the area, the condition. They have to do a little more digging. Some of them get approved. They may not even need to go. They may already know that area. They just did a condo. They may not even need to go there, and you might get an appraisal waiver because they already did something very similar to yours before. But typically these are similar in cost to an inspection, so anywhere between, you know, give or take $400 to $600. That's what I'm going to say as far as staying safe, what you can expect. So these are the amounts that'll come out. That's why I say that $5,000 is probably a good indicator. If you're just buying 250, if you're buying 500,000, same for these two typically, but your 1% is going to be higher for spending 500,000 for your home. Now, once that appraisal's done, your underwriting's done, all these other ones are done, you're going to get what's called a clear to close. Now, before, you know, once you get the clear to close, that means the appraisal has come back and they say, hey, based on that 90% that we're going to lend out, we're good. We can, you know, lend out confidently knowing that we'll be able to get our money back if anything happens. All the contingencies have been met. You've gone through the inspection, you've gone through underwriting, you've gone through the offer. All these other things have been met, and now you're ready to close and get the keys to your home. So congrats on getting this far as getting to the closing. Now, what happens is your real estate agent, your lender, the county, everyone's all working on your behalf to communicate with the county or the city or the municipality that you're purchasing your home in to say, hey, let's bring everything to a head. We'll bring everything together. We'll sign off on all the documents, and we'll have the transfer or the transaction of the sale to take place. So that way we can go from homeowner to new homeowner. This is where you're transferring your utilities, your mail, your Amazon address, all that type of stuff. You're moving it over up into the close date, and then you're in great shape as far as that's concerned. This is where you're bringing all your cash to close. You're bringing, you know what your monthly payment is. You're confident in that. You're most likely going to have to bring 2 forms of ID when you do go to close, just so they can verify that it's you. You're going to bring whatever cash that they told you you're going to have to bring to close, the remaining amount to go towards your closing. And typically, you know, you sit down at the closing. That's where you pop the confetti or you take the photo and you're all excited. You're going to the title company. The title company is where you're going to sign off on all the documents, and they set everything up for you in order to take home ownership. A lot of times they'll communicate with the county and the lender. If the seller is getting paid, that's where they'll pay the seller. Sometimes you'll sit down with the seller, but more times than not, especially now in 2026, you may not meet the sellers of the home. If you want to meet them, maybe you can talk with your real estate agent, communicate a way to get in touch with them, say thanks, or leave a thank you note, or they can leave a thank you note for you just to celebrate the new home with you. Some of my sellers do that just kind of for good juju, good keepings, and try to send you off on the right foot. So that's exciting. All right, now you've already closed. You've gotten into your new home. Congratulations, you are a homeowner. I knew you could do it. So exciting. Now, after the closing, this is number 10, typically what happens. So you'll close on the home and your first payment is usually not due right away. You don't have to move in. You know, when you move in, you don't have to just start paying right away. Typically, they'll have what's called prorations within your closing costs, and you'll pay in advance, you know, for the next month. So if you close in March, your next payment may not be till May 1st. If you close March 1st, you might not pay till May 1st. If you close in August, you might not pay till November, your first payment. So keep that in mind. You're not gonna, you know, hit the ground running. So that way, if you have 30 days possession, you have at least 30 days to make your first payment. So if you close in August, you close in August, September, you move in, your payment might not be due until October. So that way you have a little bit of a gap in between and you're covered. You can move in, have a little bit of peace of mind, and not have to worry about paying right away. Typically, you'll get a bunch of stuff in the mail right when you move in saying you need to pay this and you need to pay that and do all this stuff. A lot of times these people just get access to public data when you transition into your new home. So they try to, I don't know if it's just like scam, but they just provide services that you may or may not need. So take a photo, send it to your realtor, send it to somebody who's, you know, around, say, do I got to pay this? Because you'll get that. It's spam mail. That's really what it is. So some of it may be true, but most likely than not, you've already paid your prorations, you know, so just make sure that all that's done. Some people pay their taxes within their loan. So whatever loan payment you have, usually your taxes are rolled into that. Your insurance is rolled into that. And, you know, but some people don't, you know, they want to pay taxes, insurance outside of their mortgage payment. So that's really it, man. I'm just really excited to give you this heads up as far as how to purchase a home. It is exciting. You know, it's a responsibility. You know, congratulations, welcome to home ownership. If a light bulb goes out, you're fixing it. You know what I mean? Or unless you call a service to come over and do it, which, you know, there's a lot of home services out there that you can call to come help you with this and that, plumbers and technicians and mechanics or whoever it is that come out to fix properties, landscapers and whatnot. Now you're a homeowner. You're in the big boy world. You're in big shoes. You know, you got everyone, you know, to be able to help you as far as keeping and maintaining your home. So know that it is a responsibility. It's a great responsibility to have. It's a lot freeing. You can build up equity. You have more control. You have more usage rights and things like that. So that is the way to buy a home in 10 steps. I wanted to give you something thorough, something in detail for you to expect. So if you have any questions on purchasing a home, whether it's now or 5 years from now or a year from now, I want to be able to help you the best way that I can. So my number, my email coming on the screen right now. This is Vaughn Greathouse, your local host living great in Grand Rapids and the West Michigan area. And that is how to buy a home in 2026. The 10 steps, 2026 and beyond. Most of this stuff has not changed and it may not change. And if it does, you already know, I'll give you the heads up on that. So again, for things to do and sights to see, this is Live Great TV. This is Vaughn Greathouse 5-star real estate. I'm excited to see you on the next one. So stay tuned. I'll be giving you more information about the West Michigan area, what it's like to live, work, and have fun out here. We will see you on the next video. Take care.